Well, hello. Honestly, this isn't a video that I ever thought I would be making, but here we are. The past week or so has been nothing short of overwhelming, and a part of me doesn't want to make this video because I don't want to have to relive everything. But then I also want to share what happened as a way of continuing bringing awareness to postpartum depression and other forms of maternal mental illness, and now more than ever I want to make it known what can happen. Some women get postpartum and they have it for a couple weeks, a couple months, and then they find something that works for them and they get better. They heal. And then there's other women who they just get worse and worse until they die. And there's not really a reason. Doesn't mean that one's luckier than the other. Doesn't mean that one's stronger than the other. It's just what happens. And it's hard when you're told that you very easily could have been one of the women that died. You could have easily been one of the ones lost. That's scary. And that's everything that I wanted to avoid. Everything that I was fearful of, I quickly had to confront and face head on. This video is not going to be one that is fun for me to do, but I feel it is important. But just please be patient and understanding with me, because this is not easy, and everything that I'm gonna say, I'm not even gonna cover it all, simply because that would be far too long. But everything that I'm gonna say, if it's painful to hear, think of it times 10, and that's what it was like to experience it. Words will never be able to fully express what it was like to see it, to hear it, to go through it. I wouldn't wish what happened on anybody. In a way, I'm very thankful that I went through it because of where I am now, but it still was absolutely terrifying to go through. And even that I'm out of the situation now, I still have some things that I have to work on, as far as there's some things that I guess could have been traumatizing to me, I guess is the best way to put it. I get very fearful now if I feel like I'm being forced to do something, or if somebody is yelling, or there's extremely loud noises. I'm having some trouble dealing with that. So that's just something that I'm probably going to have to work on in therapy. But I guess I just have to kind of start the video and just get through it so I can be done talking about it. Okay, so I can't exactly tell you the day that things got really, really bad. They've been bad for 8 months, but I can't really tell you the day that they crossed over into really bad. But at some point I just got so angry with myself for being so mad and so obsessive and so hard to deal with that I started punishing myself by burning, and that was hard to admit. I had a problem with self-harm back when I was a teenager, and I had just kind of pushed all the feelings down and hadn't done it for 10, 11 years. So when I made the decision that I was that hurting and that upset that I was willing to throw away basically 11 years of being self-harm free, that really showed me that I wasn't doing well. And so I did that for a while, and then I was able to stop. I by no means did it mean that I didn't have the urges or that I didn't think very hard about doing it on occasion, but I didn't. Once I decided to stop again, I stopped. And so I only mention that because it is something that I was doing, so I want to be transparent about that. But so I was just building up the feelings, the being overwhelmed, the being obsessed, the being annoyed with everything, the being just everything that I was being for the past 8 months. And at some point this past week, or I guess it'd be last week now, I just became a whole different level. I just became somebody I didn't even recognize. I talked in my triggers video about how, about how I had discussed with my husband about when I was having a bad day, I would go, to a different place. And so one of those days I ended up in a Wendy's with alcohol in a Wendy's cup, drinking it. And I don't drink alcohol at all. I have no interest in alcohol. I never have. But yet I was sitting there, completely planning on getting drunk. And that's not me. I didn't even recognize myself. What was I doing? And at one point, I had a voice in my head saying, "What are you doing, Brittany?" And that's the only reason I stopped, was because I looked up and there was a woman with her son And I looked and thought, if I finish this drink, I'm going to start myself on a path of being an alcoholic. I could see how I would, in this mindset, would end up there, and I wouldn't be okay. And so I got up and I threw the cup away and went home. But it scared me that I got that close to something that I never do normal. And it just kept building and building. And then somehow last week I guess you could say I hit rock bottom. I just became so paranoid. I truly felt like everybody hated me and everybody was out to get me. I got off Facebook because I felt like nobody cared if I was there or not. I kept setting things up so that when people would fail to do what I wanted them to do or I expected them to do, it just validated that they didn't care about me and they didn't love me. And I truly was just very paranoid. I believed that I didn't have anybody on my side and nobody cared if I lived or died. And I became obsessive about everyone around me and how much they loved me and who was willing to fight for me. And at one point I got into, I guess it wouldn't be a yelling match because I was basically the only one yelling, but I got into a yelling match with Kevin because I just wanted him to help me clean the house, and he didn't just drop everything to help me clean. And his thing was, why didn't you ask me to help you clean? And I would have gladly helped you clean. And I didn't want to ask him. I wanted him to just do it. And my thoughts just started telling me, he doesn't love you, just run away. He doesn't care if you're here or not. He's like everybody else, he hates you too. And so I tried to leave, and he said, I don't feel safe with you leaving like this. And I said, you need to let me leave and you need to let me calm down. And he said, but you just told me the other day that you wanted me to calm you down and to help you. And I said, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want anymore. I don't know what's going to make this any better. It's never going to get any better. And he said, I don't know what you want me to do to help you. I'll do it, but you either want me to stop you or you don't want me to stop you. You either want me to do this or you don't want me to do this. And I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know what's going to help me. It's never going to get any better. I'm just better off dead. And I truly believed it all. I truly believed that it was never going to get any better. It was just going to get worse and worse, and I was going to lose more and more people, and nobody loved me, and nobody cared if I was there or not, and I'd show them. And I got into what I now know is a very life-threatening mindset. I had every intention of showing everybody that they were going to miss me when I was gone. And so that led to me thinking about dying. I didn't know the time, but I knew it was coming. I had plans. And I was going to I was gonna stop fighting. I was gonna stop trying. I had convinced myself that nobody cared if I lived or died, so why fight? And so I started thinking more and more about how I could leave, make sure the kids were safe with my husband, and then leave and die. And to look back now and realize how close I came is that's pretty terrifying. I was literally about to do it. I was about to just say, I can't do this anymore. This hurts too much. Saturday, I was still in the same mindset of everybody's letting me down. That's the best way to put it. I truly felt like I was being held up by a rope, and more people kept letting me go. And they just expected the other people would hold on, so they didn't need to. And I just kept feeling like more and more people didn't care enough to hold on to the rope. So if they didn't care, then why should I care? And I talked to a very good friend of mine. I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't want to talk to another person who was going to tell me how I just needed to try harder. I just needed to reach out to more people. It was all my fault. I didn't want to do that. But something made me answer her call. Maybe the good part of my brain did it. Maybe somebody was watching over me and made me press talk. But something made me answer her call, and we talked for an hour, and I told her everything, and basically, to get to the point of the conversation, was she told me that she felt that I did need to check myself into the ER. I told her that I had been thinking about it, how if I wasn't so worried about CPS and how my husband would be able to go to work, if I wasn't worried about all of that, that I would go check myself into the ER right there. And she said that she felt that I should do that. And I told her all of the reasons that I didn't want to do that and all of the fears, and she said, you need to do it. Because you will get to the point where you will die. And if you're so worried about what your husband's going to do for work, what do you think is going to happen when you die? If you're so worried about how your kids are going to be taken care of, what do you think is going to happen when you die? And she had great points for everything that I said. And she said, just talk to your husband. The people that love you will make sure that your babies are okay while you're gone. You just have to worry about helping yourself. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect your family. And the only way to do that is by going to the ER.